So currently I have a bit of a problem with my brakes. I only get half the braking power, and I'm guessing it's because of one of the plastic sealants, rubber sealants inside the braking house here is probably old and cracked. So I'm gonna change the rubber sealings in here, and while I'm still at it, I'm gonna change the hose for the braking oil. And as you can see, it comes from up here and goes down here to the connection to the braking house here. And I already cleaned with a steel brush and sprayed WD-40 to loosen them up a little bit, and I'm gonna see if I can remove it fairly easily, hopefully. And since I'm gonna break the brake lines, I have a container below that is gonna receive the oil that's going to come out of the connection here, and also maybe elsewhere. So this is the cable for the ABS sensor that's on the other side. So start with loosening that up, get it to the side. Then we have a plastic bracket here. No, I need to use the stand for this. Came off fairly easily. There's a holder for the brake light that we need to remove also. Oh, it's jammed in there pretty hard. So let's put a little WD-40 on it and let that work for a little while. And we try to remove the other one up here. Okay, so I start with removing the braking house here, and let's begin with the spring here. Fairly loose already. So this is insect's key, size 7, I think it says. So in the back it's more or less the same procedure I done as what TV chefs do. I did some work ahead, so I removed the pins. It's the same size insects as in the front, and I loosened up this hose already. You can see it's almost falling apart here. Let's see if we can remove it without spraying brake fluid all over the place. So now I see a problem. The hose is twisting here. So we probably need to do this a little bit different. That's much healthier for the hose, so we don't break it. Even if we're not gonna plan to reuse it, I still want to try to keep it in one piece. So I don't know how well it shows, but I've been using this rotating steel brush on the rusted areas. So it's fairly clean. And now we're going to use some high pressure air to pop the brake cylinders. No, I don't know what it's called, but so that's fairly clean. But I'm going to use some brake cleaner to just clean it up a little bit better. Don't want to get any dust or dirt into the where the brake fluid will flow. I'm using a little bit of wood here so to stop the cylinder to blow all over the place. I'm actually going to use a face shield and some ear protection for this. I don't know if it's going to bang real high or whatever. Oh, there we go. So that was much easier than I expected, actually. Good news sometimes. So I'm gonna start with the rear one. Oh my god, there's so much dirt. Wow, this is really quite strong. Okay, there's the cylinder. Could do with a little bit of cleaning up. So this is the external. Ah, there we go. And then, oh, yeah, empty naturally. And inside here is the internal seal and the replacements. Looks like this. So it's just a matter of pulling that out and then putting in the new one and cleaning up inside here, because it was the brake fluid that came from inside was quite black actually. So let's see if I can take apart the front one. A little bit bigger. Let's see if there is no fluid in. Here we have the seal, the outer one, and here's the inner one. So yeah, clean up and put new fresh stuff in. Okay, so I cleaned the first three one, and what I do is just take some brake cleaner, spray inside, some clean paper, just get in there, try to clean up as much as possible. See, it gets a little bit dirty. actual pistons also. So I took a steel brush and just removed whatever rust was loose up here. And the O-ring that's seated in here, I use this tool, and it's kind of my favorite tool actually right now, because you can pull out and do so much detailed work very delicately. So I really like this one. There should be no loose rust there now. Yada yada yada. Yeah. So time to mount the new bushings, for no better word of it. And you might be able to see that there are two grooves here. And if I do like this, one inner there and one outer. So the inner one is for this one, and the outer one is for this sealant here. And I usually use Vaseline. It has no funny things in it, but just pure fat, and I just grease it up a little bit. So it goes in more easily. It doesn't stick to the cylinder when I start to insert that. So now you see it's in here. Just make sure it's properly seated all the way around. And then take the piston and I put a little bit of fat inside here, but I'll use this one to make it easier to go in. And I'm supposed to mount it onto the cylinder first. Easier said than done, but okay. I'm supposed to get this part here. There we go, much better. So this lip here need to go into the outer group here. It's gonna be a little bit tricky probably. So what I do, I try to get the rear seated first. The rear edge. And I keep one edge in with my left thumb, and I'll try to push in the remainder into the groove. Did I lose it? Seems like it. Yeah, probably did. Yeah. So you want to keep this as far out as possible without losing the grip of the cylinder. So let's try it again. You need to have the cylinder lifted the right distance from the edge. That might be it. Oh no. Ah. Vad säger du? Vad sa du?
Jo, har du sovit i
Nej.
lådan bilen?
Ja.
Ursäkta av den.
Precis. So time to bleed the brakes, and what I use is supposed to be some high-grade brake fluid, new naturally, don't reuse the old one. It picks up moist or water, and if you start braking hard, that water can start to boil inside the brake lines. Hence you need new braking fluid every second, but at least every third year. And to bleed the brakes, I use this hose here that I connected to my spare wheel. I have about 1 bar pressure in there, and then I have this hose here going to the braking fluid container, and if I undo the lid here a little bit, you can hear it's pressurized. So that's pressure from the tire, and I am almost at maximum here on the fluid level. Very hard to see because the fluid is actually clear as water almost. So whoops, lots of cords going all over the place here. So what I've done now is I connected tube to the bleeding valve, and I'm just gonna loosen it a bit, and so new fresh brake fluid should come through this plastic hose down to the container here, and the instruction says to let out approximately 100 mils. Well, as long as I don't see any air bubbles here, I'm gonna be fine with that. And actually I need to get a different key. You see some fluid coming there. You see air bubbles. Those should disappear. There we got fluid again. Still a small amount of air bubbles in there. I'm getting clear fluid now, indicating I got, and there we don't got any bubbles anymore. So as easy as that. And how much was that? Not quite 100 mil, but somewhere along those. Yeah, about 100 mils. And just close this up. Take a proper tool so you don't break the nut. And then put the cap back on. And yeah. Same thing on all four corners.